Ah, yes, our favorite, Pokimane. We haven't talked for a while about her. Pokimane's insufferable take about gamers is getting obliterated. Yeah, I'm not surprised. This is Baref. We're gonna look into this. What did she say again? See, every single time Pokimane gets obliterated, it's because her takes are ass, and because what she does is ass, and what she says is hypocritical. I wish she would just go back to doing ASMR. I'll be real. Just go back to ASMR and we'd be cool. We'd be good. Anyways, let's have a look see.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So I'm sure you're a lot like me. Whenever you come across a topic on the internet, the first thought in your mind is, what does Pokimane have to say about this? And it's no different when it comes
Kinda not. Kinda not, my guy. Well, every single time Pokemon says something, it's stupid. I think she just focus on her content instead of like talking about societal issues. It's gonna be interesting, huh?
to gaming. Pokimane is a fountain of knowledge when it comes to gaming, and recently she's had a clip go viral where she's talking about the experience of female gamers, where she yearns, she pines for the good old days where female gamers had it so much better. And by better, I mean the times where people used to simp for people like Pokimane a lot harder than they are currently. Now, of course, the gaming industry would totally never have anything negative to say about men. Of course, that's ignoring the last 10 to 15 years of agenda.
Oh god, don't remind me of Anita Sarkeesian, who married her, had a wedding themed birthday party, and freaking Miss Zoe Quinn. Fucking Zoe Quinn. Oh god, that's been quite a while. Isn't there not also a chick called Alana Pierce, something like that, who's also in that retarded niche? What do I know?
Pushing, where even the UN heard about how evil men are thanks to individuals like Anita Sarkeesian. You also ignore the fact that game developers, community managers, and alike have been routinely speaking about how much they hate not only gamers, but particularly male gamers, and even a step further, white male gamers. This also ignores the endless discourse on social media where people are blaming men.
Men are the plot problem with the gaming community. Actually, not. It's the women entering gaming and then demanding change for community. They're in quote unquote community. Not really. Space. They're not really part of. But that is just me. That's just me. That is just me. What do I what do I know at this point? Right? I'm just an evil white boy watching these women and calling them retarded at this point, because like what else do you do? I don't even have memes anymore, to reaction memes anymore, to even talk about that, like to make fun of them.
For all of the problems in the gaming industry and related communities. And this sort of discussion goes on and on. It often blows up in the face of the people trying it, and that's exactly
Diabolical. Grown men, why are you still playing video games? Same reason you wear makeup. Nice little escape from reality. That's kind of true.
what we're dealing with today, involving Pokimane, who has come out and said how much things have changed for women in the last 10 to 15 years when it comes to gaming. And let's just hear the intro to this clip.
Earlier today, I did this random little TikTok where I was talking about how, hear me out. Do you guys remember like 15 years ago? I feel like 10, 15 years ago, if you were a girl gaming online, people were actually so nice to you. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, but we all know why. We all know why. It's not that it's worse nowadays. It's just that like the effect has worn off, but we know why.
so nice. They treated you so well. They would like gift you free stuff, all this stuff.
That's because they saw a chance and they wanted to take it. They were simping. I don't know where she's going with this. Is she really that delusional that people did that out of niceness? She's not that delusional, right? She knows. She knows.
Do you guys remember? But nowadays, I feel like girls are a little bit scared to game online or to use their mic or whatever. Mac, thank you for subbing. I just like, sometimes I think about these days and I'm like, I'm not hallucinating that, right?
I think a lot of people are absolutely exhausted hearing anything about gaming from Pokimane, the individual who just a few months ago made this rage bait tweet that she
I miss when streaming was about gaming, not just drama baiting and clip farming. Like, she's the one to talk. Anyways. See, the problem is that male gamers in particular, but also female gamers, have e-girl fatigue. They have female gamer fatigue. And it's tragic. It really is. But it's the result of the invasion that has been happening, right? Where a bunch of ladies thought it would be interesting to twist and turn a male dominated hobby to fit their preferences instead of them adapting to the preferences of the majority, which is kind of depressing. And yeah, no, I'm not falling for the article that says, yeah, 50% of gamers are women. Remove all the mobile games and it goes down to like maybe 20. Maybe. It's more like, I think Capcom released like a statistic where they had like 84 and male and 16 female. I think that's decently representative. I think it might vary from like genre to genre, but I think most people that play video games are dudes.
swiftly deleted, where she said, I miss when streaming was about gaming, not just drama baiting and clip farming, which is literally her bread and butter. She does nothing but drama and rage bait and try to farm clips. Her entire ecosystem is sitting in front of a camera pretending to be some gamer girl, where in reality she doesn't actually play any games, while she sits there, talks a little bit to her chat, reacts to videos lazily, and then waits for her tier 3 simps to try to clip her as she tries to walk out of the room or something for their own creepy simp.
Exactly, that's the thing though. I'm a gamer girl. I'm a female gamer. Well, then you better play some games because, well, while I do like reactions on the weekends, the rest of the week is all games. The rest of the week, Monday to Friday, is games. We play games for 6 hours straight. 2 hours for each game. We're currently doing Xenoblade Chronicles to Wolf in Future Connected now. We're doing Monster Hunter Stories, Pokemon. What else do we have? Currently, last week Monday I started. Not last week, like last week. Friday I started Majora's Mask, and soon we're gonna start Ace Attorney. And like, you get the idea, right? Like, we're gaming out here. She's not.
Purposes, stuff like that. I mean, the IRL section on Twitch was literally created because of people like Pokimane, because they were abusing the sort of tag of being a gamer or playing a certain game so much, they had to do something about it as a platform. Now, in that clip we just watched, she talks about the good old days. She is literally pining for the old era, 10 to 15 years ago, where being a girl and gaming online, people were so much nicer to you. She is yearning for the days where she could amass simps easier. That's literally what she's saying here. It was just easier back then. People gave her free stuff because she was a woman in the space, and that's what worked for her. Now, that's kind of dried up. That sort of gimmick doesn't.
Yeah, Banana Juju here. I love it. I love it. Yes, because 15 years ago, not every woman was making it. I have a stalker TikTok afterwards because someone left comments on their socials. Men learned from it, and now you're all getting manhandled like the rest. It's called Equality-Based Monkey Woman. I like Banana Juju. Please check out Banana Juju. She's very based. I like her.
Really work anymore. And I guess she is yearning for the good old days. And it's pointed out here that, yeah, because 15 years ago, not every woman was making I have a stalker TikTok afterwards because someone left comments on their socials. Men learned from it. And now you are all getting manhandled like the rest. It's called equality. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's called equality. Nobody's throwing their money at Pokimane. They're throwing it at goofy lads like me because it's really that simple. Just go out there and provide people the content they want. Don't sit there and be a massive hypocrite constantly whining about it or saying, oh, the good old days, I used to get more.
The self-glaze, my guy. The stop glazing yourself. Like, imagine the medal meme with like Obama giving himself a medal. Now replace it with ref. Just to replace it.
Out of people. Like, it's totally ridiculous to hear this from her. She just wants a return to a better time where she sat there and got absolutely showered in donations 24/7, but now she's resorted to even more rage baiting and trying.
Life is funny after donating $5,000. By the way, you are retarded. Being a tier 3 sub, you are retarded. And I get banned from her channel and subreddit. This is either fake, but it could be real, and it'd be really depressing if it were.
Trying to be this very stunning and brave individual with her political related tweets that absolutely drive people insane due to her lack of self-awareness or just knowledge about really anything. And on top of that, people are pointing out that why would Pokimane need free stuff? If you're a broke girl, just say so. And that, of course,
True. Anybody remember this clip with the overpriced cookies that you could get? Like, apparently people said you could get them. Like, I'm not American, I wouldn't know, but like you could get them from like fucking Target, Walmart, or something, and like is like like they're a lot cheaper. They're like the off-brand ones you could get from there, and there's more in there. Yeah, the cookies. I remember that. I remember that. And then also, like, remember when she was like tax the rich, but not me because I'm not that rich.
is a calling to an old quote of hers where, confronted by viewers who didn't want to pay $28 a pack for her cookie brand, she said, if you're a broke boy, just say so. And this is the one who is trying to lecture you about how women are being treated in the gaming space when, of course, you're just a broke boy if you don't want to support her overpriced cookie brand, which of course has been falling apart over the past couple of months. But nevertheless, this whole claim about 10 to 15 years ago, and just now, as she said in the clip, she's noticing something is wrong here with the treatment of girls in gaming. She's been doing this every year for like a decade, okay? Here's the tweet from 2021 where she says, the hate that women receive within gaming has become so normalized, but we need...
Nope. Nope. See, the reason women get shit on in gaming is not because they're women, but because they are retarded. See, the problem is that you force a community, you force people to cater to your, specifically, what you want. And it obviously doesn't work like that. You are trying to police people on what they can and can't say. You're trying to police people on how they play. You're trying to police people on what words they use. You are trying to police people in even what they play. You try to change things that have always been like that. That actual female gamers, right, liked before that hand and didn't like. You are trying to force an ideology that the gamers reject. See, all the problem that women have in gaming, all the problems. Of course, there are people who are like dudes who are like weirdos, sure. Yeah. But like a lot of the problems that female gamers have, that women have in gaming, are self-made. They're in-house made. They're in-house. Because instead of integrating into a community, you were a tourist and forced to change it. Nobody wants to play a game where like they can like tease somebody, make fun of them, even insult them, like banter, right? Banter. I think like these people wouldn't survive Xbox 360 lobbies. They wouldn't survive those. And honestly, I'm not surprised that they wouldn't.
To make it clear to our communities and platforms that it is absolutely not okay. Now you have to understand the context here. She was getting dragged by people on social media for, once again, stirring the pot, basically getting what she's asking for in terms of attention. And she makes this not about women, but instead about her getting criticized. And now she's trying to come out and say, hey, we need to stand up to this sort of behavior. It's very self-serving. And she's using this entire movement and message to really just protect herself, which that really shouldn't surprise you. Now, a lot of people hearing that good old era she's talking about from 10 to 15 years ago, and they think to themselves, like, how would Pokimane survive a good old-fashioned 2012 COD lobby? Ladies and gentlemen, I think she would have been just fine. If you look at the old clips of Pokimane, this one in particular, like, I can literally hear this gif, ladies and gentlemen. I think she would have fit in just fine in that environment. But hearing all of this from Pokimane is very ironic. She's trying to virtue signal about women in the gaming space. Meanwhile, we know full well she could not define what a woman is if you asked her, because her answer entirely hinges upon what the socially acceptable answer is currently in the LA streaming scene. She is a slave to that scene.
Correct. This scene is a huge circle jerk. You must say the line, right? You must say it. Whatever the current line is, you must say it. No matter the cost, no matter what happens, you must say it. And she is one of those people. She's part of that group. Not she only basically when she has a take, it's always so that everyone seal claps, basically. She never has any takes that are like, that's questionable, that's weird. You wouldn't say that, but at least that side would be like, that's weird. You wouldn't say that. Why are you saying that? That's out of line, right? She never has any own thoughts. No own thoughts, head empty. And it's kind of sad. Because how can you be so audience and what's the word? Colleague captured? Space captured? I don't know what you would call that. To not be able to form out your own opinions because you might get quote unquote cancelled.
And a slave to whatever makes her the most money, and that's exactly what dictates her morals, and in this case, it's just ironic hearing her talk about women. But let's move on to the next part of the clip where she talks about misogyny.
But that's the thing, it makes me sad for maybe like younger women who just got into gaming and they think that this is just how it's been all the time, but that's not so much the case, I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always been some issues in relation to misogyny, but at one point it didn't feel so bad.
Now, it's very interesting hearing Pokimane talk.
See, you experienced a time where female gamers were quote unquote something new, and you had a lot of people simping. But once those men found out that you're not all that special and you're just human, you will also just treat it like everyone else. See, you experience the equality you have created, which is you wanted to be equal to a man, so that would also include the treatment of a man, which means that you will get flamed for anything that's on the menu. You will be made fun of for anything that's on the menu. Banter for anything that's on the menu. If your gender, your entire identity is on the menu, just like every other man. If somebody found out that their opposite was being a cuck, like, they'd be made fun of that. If the opposite found out you were in this case, well, a different ethnicity, whether you like it or not, you would have received blows and jokes towards that. The harsh reality is that you entered a space that is masculine, so you will be treated like a man. Isn't that fun? You wanted that, you got it.
Talking about how she feels so sad for younger women because she believes that they're in this hostile environment that wasn't always this way, but it also always had issues with misogyny, and it's somehow gotten worse. She can't really articulate exactly how it's gotten worse, but I think
it's also not particularly hostile. It's not. Like, the incidents of like having a retard there are so minimal because everyone's so afraid of being cancelled that they don't even say anything. So like, or banned. So that doesn't happen. Woman invents scenario and gets mad about it.
all of this comes from a position of insecurity about this whole gamer girl type label she's always battled with. I mean, back in 2020, she had a whole meltdown because people were making fun of her as a gamer girl. Like, she tried to identify as that, and people are like, you don't even actually play anything. And then in response to that, she says nobody watches you at all. When someone said nobody watches you for your personality or gameplay, I think this screenshot from 2020 really captures the sort of attitude and sensitivity Pokimane has towards anyone trying to call her out for actual content she provides. And it's even more ironic.
But it's true. Nobody watches her for like the stuff she plays because she doesn't even play anything, and nobody watches her for quote unquote basically like for her personality, right? It's a lot of men who just find her attractive, and as harsh and as much that pains me to say, that is the truth for a lot of female creators, right? Unfortunately, the better you look, the easier it is. Which it's rough, but it's the truth. Sadly,
When she argues about misogyny, it's like, what is misogyny?
that's why VTubing is also like among, especially Westerners, very popular among the girls because that way my actual looks do not matter. I can look the whatever I want to, and I can also like focus on anything else. I can focus on like games. I can focus on my personality. The looks, I have decided them, so like it doesn't really matter.
To this individual, because pretty much everything is, right? You post this rabbit clock meme, in her replies, you're getting a swift block, and she believes that you're a misogynist for pointing this out. And that's some of the quotes on the most recent stuff saying she doesn't understand, she's expired goods, she's almost 30. Almost 30, it's all over, ladies and gentlemen. But again, this is the type of person.
Yeah, she's 30. You know, I have the rabbit meme, but instead with eggs in the freezer. So there's that. The truth is, like, though I think honestly, the joke really doesn't hit that much because she has a lot of money. She's gonna retire, and like eventually, and like nothing matters, right? Like, there's not gonna be anything crazy going on.
Who, even when asked by her friends if she's getting married, she views that as sexist.
Guys, I've got big news.
What?
Big
You're married?
Oh, listen, you need to. That's very sexist of you.
No,
That's such a bigoted question.
no. I would be like, if Skara said I got big news, I'd be like, you got married? You know, you got an anime girlfriend?
The way you hesitated 3 times tells me that is not the first question you would
My
ask
mom
him.
asked that too.
Exactly. Let's not repeat these cycles of abuse.
You know, some people out there will think that this is ironic. This is definitely not ironic. Pokimane is that insecure about her status. And it just goes to show you, no matter how much money you have, no matter what you.
But doesn't she have a boyfriend now, or was that a lie again? I'm unsure. Because like I saw the videos about her having apparently quote unquote a neighbor, but like we all know, like we both, right? You watching and me, we both know that that's not a neighbor. That's the only reason she calls him her neighbor is because the tier 3s would disappear. Let's be honest.
Look like. It doesn't make people instantly fly into your life into a successful relationship that you can build off of. But of course, that waits to be seen with her neighbor. We'll look at those clips, those rage-baiting clips, in just a second. But she really asked the question, have we regressed? Well, I don't know. It seems like everything that we're talking about exemplifies regression, but not the way she's trying to speak about it. I mean, the whole question about marriage, and other streamers like her have been confronted with wanting to have a family, and they act like it's the most offensive thing they've ever.
Like a trap, you can't escape. Women who regret being mothers. You know, it's kind of crazy. They've been they're pushing like this mother regret. I've seen like there was a TikTok trend where women were like, "Oh, I will not lose my glow after child," and then they post a clip of them basically months and months after having a child and them not taking care of themselves at all in any way, shape, or form, right? And then complain about like, oh yeah, motherhood ruined me, and I'm like, yeah. I look at like mothers IRL that I see, right? Not these after birth or like during pregnancy, and like these people are fine. These people are totally fine. Of course you gain weight, but like these people are totally fine after birth for the most part, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's a lie, by the way. These people are lying. This is not after directly like weeks, just a few weeks after birth or just a few months after birth. some of those posts are lies and like a year or two after birth, which is crazy. And then they're pointed on the baby and motherhood. Hypocritical. Um, it's also that, right, when we look at these, right, it's not a we are in weird times where like we have women being hateful, right? Single women being hateful towards mothers and children. And people are like, "Oh, this is internalized misogyny." I'm not using that word. It's shit. It does not describe the situation, because it is women hating other women for having children and being mothers and the children. I would like a word for that. I have for the children, I would use the word adultism, right? It's autism, but it doesn't matter. Buzzword, buzzword. Um, but overall, I think that we have a huge problem with the hate towards mothers and children in this society.
Heard in their lives. Well, that is a narrative being spread by the media, which I think has regressed even further, where a recent article, literally from 2 days ago, describes life as a trap that you can't escape, referring to women who become mothers. Like they're trying to demonize motherhood. That's how low we have fallen, okay? And Pokimane, speaking of regression, has understood for a very long time, since
Well, we must all be equal, so white men and women must be equal, which means that women are not allowed to have children because men don't have children, so women should not have children, right? Makes sense, right? You want women to become secondary men or second class men.
2020, thanks to the screenshot, that she understands why guys have an easier time relating to guys and girls to girls. And if a community is male dominated, there's bound to be biases. But she hopes that we can learn to be both fair and empathetic regardless of this paradigm. So, number one, this shows that she's aware that gaming has always been a male dominated space. So when you try to plant a flag in a space that you're normally not the most representative of, it's going to come with some sort of tension. But she is aware of this and has been complaining about it and using it to protect herself for many years. But the sort of empathy that she's trying to point towards in this regression, well, it's all over the media. Again, here is a tweet with 122,000 likes. Sabrina Carpenter at Lollapalooza having over 100,000 people call men useless. Pokimane herself saying that basically all the most attractive men are gay, which just really reflects, again, her own sort of agenda, her own discourse that she's always pushing to be the most progressive ever, while also being incredibly not that, ironically enough. But of course, throughout all the time of her gaming career, she has always recognized this idea in her mind that when women mess up, they're attacked in a different sort of a way than when a man messes up and a man is forgiven. Well, it's kind of ironic coming from her because she's part of the problem. I mean, she's one of the people running defense.
I mean, it gets even more hilarious when you look around and you see all these women fuck up and them just being able to continue, but you see dudes fuck up no matter what it is, right? And it's like, goodbye, career gone, nuked, right? Whether they actually did something abhorrent or not, right? Like we're still making fun of Dr. Disrespect. We're still hunting down people that we know are predators, right? But there are women predators out there in the streaming world that we know that have had some predatory behavior, right? Nina Lynn, right? It took a lot of effort to get her banned. It took many videos to get her banned, and I think she's back again. So like, it didn't even work, right? But we have essentially somebody who commits SA, right? SA superstar, and nothing happened. Like just a few bans. Wow, amazing.
For Hassan Piker. So if you
and the other lady that helped her or did it with her as well, did not face really any consequences at all. I don't even think she was banned.
Really believe men get away with everything in this industry, well, you let Hassan get away with everything. I mean, she had to last minute push back one of her podcast episodes featuring Hassan during the dog zapping campaign that she clearly doesn't care about. She doesn't care about his supporting of terrorist organizations, his threats, his advocacy for political violence. She doesn't care about any of that because, well, she needs him for whatever reason. Clouts, friendship, what have you. Bottom dollar. Any of those things. That's why she ignores it in that context. She is literally part of the problem she has been describing. But the last part that we're going to look at today is rage baiting. And it is so ironic hearing this from her.
I do feel though that there's been rage bait for so long that I'm like tired a little bit, like I'm numb. I actually don't get baited as much because everybody knows that there's rage bait. Do you get what I mean? But I also think that that's unhealthy because it leads to a level of like apathy. Like we just don't care. Like we hear bad things and we don't care because we've been rage baited so much that we're just numb. Like, whatever. I don't even know if that's true or not. DGAF.
As I already stated earlier, Pokimane is the queen of rage bait. This tweet, again, deleted from a few months ago, is...
Right message, wrong messenger. Like, it's true, right? You get, like, rage baited so much that you're like, okay, anyways, I don't believe it. Moving on. Or, like, it's just, like, you don't give a shit, really. You don't respond to it. You just keep scrolling, right? I think she's right, but, like, she's not the one to send that message.
The epitome of that, saying, I miss when streaming was about gaming, not just drama baiting and clip farming. Literally, the call is coming from inside the house. In fact, these days, Pokimane's Twitter simply exists to rage bait people. And that is evident with tweets from just last year, where she said, my brother got married, and then just made a third.
My brother got married. Post hit, and here's a pic of my booty. By the way, she did show the picture of her brother and stuff on Instagram. So it's like funny, right? She had no issue dropping it on Instagram, but there was an issue dropping it on Twitter. So yeah, weird.
Trap photo of herself, and you can see people's reaction to this. Like, it is so self-centered. And you have to almost think, like, this is intentional. There's no way she doesn't have just enough self-awareness to know she's rage baiting people. Especially with tweets like this saying, believe all victims. And of course, people back in 2025 were pointing out that, yeah, well, you also are someone who would make fun of Amber Heard. And now she is rewriting the script. She regrets how she streamed the trial and made jokes at the expense of Amber Heard. Like, this is absolutely insane. She loved rage baiting so much that, well, she's tripping over herself. She can't even keep the narrative straight. And also, speaking of rage bait, she has been posting videos with her neighbor, totally not boyfriend, her neighbor, which of course is riling up a lot of people on social media. That's a whole nother thing. And then she made this as her most recent tweet. You know how this goes, right? She posts these silly photos. Everyone's just making fun of her, and that's pretty much how it goes. It's not even surprising whatsoever. But yeah, that is the situation with Pokimane. I hope you didn't rot too many brain cells seeing all of this, but that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, to summarize, Pokimane got her ass beat for having a horrendous take. Once more, at this point, I'm just like questioning if she's like doing it on purpose, right? If she's like, she knows, like, we're all just stupid and think she's not self-aware, but she actually is self-aware and she's doing it because she can get a raise out of people. Maybe that. But then again, that would mean that she's actually smart enough to, or like she has the ability to create that master plan, which I question, but it could kind of fit because she is kind of fake, so who knows. Anyways, that was rather interesting. Also, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.